don't know, Trump has removed money. He said he's not giving us any more money. Watu wanalia. Why are you crying? It's not your government, it's not your country. He has no reason to give you anything.
Usitutishe ati rais a one-term president. Pia watu wengine wanatutisha huko jana. Ati our job is to make sure William Ruto is a one-term president. That is your objective. Hiyo tu. Just that. And you will have achieved a lot.
All right, welcome on board. Let's begin. The former President Uhuru Kenyatta says that the United States foreign aid cuts announced by President Donald Trump is a wake-up call for Kenya to seek alternative funding for various programs. Speaking during the East Africa Region Global Health Security Summit 2025 in Mombasa, the former head of state called for prudent use of resources. He also urged other nations to be self-reliant as aid from other nations is not permanent. Uhuru observed that the increase of wars in the continent is a waste of resources.
He has no reason to give you anything. I mean, you don't pay taxes in America. He is appealing to his people. Shauri yenu bwana. This is a wake-up call for you to say, okay, what are we going to do to help ourselves? Instead of crying, to jiulize, what are we going to do? Haya ametoa hiyo pesa, sasa tutafanya namna gani jameni? What are we going to do? Yeah? To support ourselves. Because nobody is going to continue holding out a hand there to give you. It is time for us to use our resources for the right things. We are the ones who are using them for the wrong things.
The Director General of Health, Dr. Patrick Amoth, is now assuring Kenyans on ARV treatment that their program will not be affected by the cut in funding by the USA government. The Ministry of Health says the country has sufficient stocks to take care of the Kenyans on this treatment regime, as well as for those seeking HIV testing services. The assurance comes as World Health Organization raised concerns about the long-lasting impact of the IFAN's cut on the long journey to defeating HIV and AIDS.
Numerous executive orders issued by President Trump, including the latest regarding development support, to halting development support to the rest of the world. The US government is the largest single bilateral donor globally. In 2023, the US government contributed a whopping $72 billion as development aid to the rest of the global community. Kenya and the US government have had a very strong bilateral relationship, and therefore we are cognizant of information emanating from the US government. But I want to assure Kenyans that we have sufficient stocks of HIV commodities, be it antiretrovirals, be it the testing commodities. We have strengthened our supply chain pipeline in the last 1-2 years to ensure that at any given time we have more than 6 months of stock. We are told globally as a best practice that if you run a big program like the one we run, where we have nearly 1.4 million Kenyans on treatment, then you must be able to ensure that you have your plan B to be able to address any contingencies that would arise either deliberately or out of events outside your control. Out of this, therefore, we can be able to report a very strong and successful program, more than nearly about 1.4 million persons on treatment, and we are on target in our 95 global targets, meaning 98% of Kenyan population know their HIV status, and out of those who know their HIV status, again, 98% are on treatment. We are lagging behind in terms of viral suppression slightly. We are at 94% against a global target of 95%. And one of the biggest contributors to our failure to achieve the 95% in viral suppression is in regards to elimination of mother-to-child transmission of HIV. I want to appeal again to all members of the community, family members, to ensure that those who are on treatment go to the facilities to be able to receive their medications, because we have the medicines and the healthcare workers to be able to provide that service. Again, in terms of ensuring seamless service delivery, our prescription pattern for antiretroviral therapy is that we give you 3 to 6 months of medicines. So nobody should be able to miss their medication despite what is happening out in the global arena. That is for us to be able to discuss as technical experts. Our role is to ensure that we shield the patient who requires treatment and ensure that they continue to receive the treatment uninterrupted. As a result of that, at programmatic level, we have directed that the programs dealing with these critical strategic programs to be able to get weekly reports from the counties on service delivery, including ensuring that patients receive the services, the testing services continue, the antiretroviral drugs are available and are provided, and ensure that no Kenyan who is in need of treatment misses. And that should be our clarion call, that whatever is happening in the global arena is part of this discussion that have been ongoing for a period of time, except now it has been brought to the forefront.
The government has announced plans to reorganize its budget in response to the recent withdrawal of foreign aid, aiming to ensure continued funding for essential programs that have been impacted. Officials stated that this restructuring will involve reallocating resources to prioritize critical initiatives, thereby mitigating the adverse effects of the aid reduction.
Yes, we've received that order that they stop funding for the time being. No activity that is going on, so we expect a final decision. And as a government, we are also taking stock of what we need to do, because that calls for us now to reallocate some of the funds to the programs that are very important and crucial and were being supported by this by the US government. So we take note of that, and our teams are already working on the impact of that order to our healthcare system, and that we'll be able to come up with an assessment of how much then we need to invest, to put into the healthcare system in our supplementary budget and in our subsequent budgets that will be coming. So that is just a notice to us. I can call it a notice to us that we start looking at our budget and funding to these very crucial sectors, especially the HIV and TB, malaria, which are 3 common, very, very dangerous diseases that we are facing here in the country, and we need to invest heavily. We had gotten that support for a long time, and you still want to appreciate for that support. Now that they have given us that order, we have to look at our budgets and see that the services continue. Those people who are on ARVs must continue receiving their ARVs. So that's why my team is working on the impact, and then we'll be able to have an engagement with the National Treasury for additional funding to those sectors.
Moving on, President William Ruto arrived at Egypt's presidential headquarters on Wednesday morning and was received with full military honors by President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. During his 2-day state visit, the two leaders will discuss diplomatic trade and investment relations between Kenya and Egypt. They will also witness the signing of at least 12 agreements before addressing a joint press conference. Listen in. Jubilee Party Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni said says the party is committed to supporting former Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i in his quest for the country's top leadership in the 2027 general elections. Kioni says the leadership is confident in Matiang'i's ability to positively transform the country. The immediate former Ndarago Member of Parliament at the same time noted the party has so far bagged a total of 7 million registered voters, giving it an edge over other registered political parties.
Matiang'i has been serving in Jubilee or under Jubilee government for the last 10 years. Many of the projects that we have ongoing across the country, many of which are stored already, some have some little progress that we can see. Haya maneno yote ni mambo ambayo sisi kama wana Jubilee tunaamini ya kwamba Matiang'i ana uwezo wa kuyatatua kwa haraka. Our register has a total of 7,110,525 members who are on the list or on the register of ORPP ambao ni wa Jubilee. We will continue registering more and more members as we revitalize the party, so that we can also be able to give a good platform, give good support to our presidential candidate, Fred Matiang'i.
Still in politics, Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki has dismissed the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and his opposition allies for their one-term remarks during the launch of the new headquarters for DAP Kenya Party on Monday, terming the remarks as cheap threats. Professor Kindiki says the government will not dwell on populist politics, but will instead remain focused on service delivery to the people. The Deputy President has challenged the opposition leaders, including Wiper Democratic Movement leader Kalonzo Musyoka, to tell Kenyans what they did for Kenyans when they held government positions. The Deputy President spoke as he hosted a delegation from Tharaka Nithi County to deliberate on priorities, development projects, and the implementation of government programs. He met the delegation at his official residence in Karen, Nairobi.
Usitutishe ati rais a one-term president. Pia watu wengine wanatutisha huko jana. Ati our job is to make sure William Ruto is a one-term president. That is your objective. Hiyo tu. Just that. And you will have achieved a lot. President Ruto is lucky to be among the 5 Kenyans who have occupied the seat of President of Kenya. Some, 24 years. Others, 10 years. If he gets 5, so be it. If he gets how many days, so be it. Mimi nimekuwa naibu wa rais. Today is the 89th day in office. I am working as if this is it. Hakuna siku ingine ni hii tu. That's how I'm working, because you don't know. We live and work by the grace of God. There was somebody in this office. Today he's not here. Now he's giving us ultimatum from funerals. How he will make William Ruto a one-term president. As if that is an achievement. William Ruto's objective is not to serve for 2 terms. It is to use the time that God will give him in office to bring transformative programs in 1, 2, 3 areas and then leave so that other people can come and take Kenya forward. As his principal assistant, that is my objective too, to support him. So musikuja kututisha na one time, my friend.
To some sad news, 2 children under the age of 5 have tragically perished in a fire at their home in Obok Village, Homa Bay County. Witnesses report that the bodies of the children were burned beyond recognition. According to their father, Christopher Atieko, his family has been receiving death threats from relatives due to an ongoing land dispute.
The house was blazing all over, and the children were nowhere to be seen. I was worried. I cried. I cried, really, I cried. I heard they are saying that they will burn me to the ground, plus my children, because I'm not belonging to their family.
Family members were saying that he is not a son of this home, that he is a son from Canada. So they wanted him to migrate from this home and go to Canada. So I advised him to go and report the matter to the police. I think when I inquired whether he had gone, he told me he did not report the matter.
And counties in the Lake Victoria Basin, Central and North Rift Valley, as well as those in the highlands, will continue to receive rainfall in February, with stints of occasional dry spell as the country heads towards the onset of long rains. The Kenya Meteorological Department, in an early March to May focus, has placed the onset of the long rains in the last week of March and first week of April, with the rains expected to subside in June. The distribution of rain, mostly in counties considered to be the country's food basket, will range from poor to fair as changes in climate continue to affect weather patterns.
The peak of the rains is expected to be in April for most regions, except over the coastal strip, where the highest rainfall is expected in the month of May. We are talking about higher than normal rainfall virtually everywhere in the country. The northeastern counties, where we find the counties of Mandera, Marsabit, Wajir, Garissa, where we are, and Isiolo. These areas are expected to experience occasional rainfall, whose amounts are likely to be below the long-term average for the season.
Let's head to the corridors of justice. Sarah Wairimu Kamodo, widow of the late slain businessman Tob Cohen, has pleaded not guilty to charges of murder. Wairimu was arrested last week after the Director of Public Prosecutions reviewed the case and found that she has a case to answer on the murder of her husband, Dutchman Tob Cohen. The suspect, through her lawyers, wants the court to release her on cash bail, which the prosecution has opposed. The court will hear the bail application on 3rd of February 2025.
Persuaded them that there currently exists any jurisprudence mandating the prosecution to reopen a file previously closed following a successful nolle prosequi application under Section 82(1). Notwithstanding the foregoing, it is important to note that the alleged offense was committed in Kabete, Nairobi County, which is within the territorial jurisdiction of this court. It should, however, be noted that in 2019, when the alleged offense was committed, Kibera High Court had not been established, and this explains why the matter was initially filed at Milimani High Court. I therefore hold that Kibera High Court is the court that is properly vested with jurisdiction to hear and determine this case. This case is therefore properly filed. Disposition. The application by the prosecution to subject the accused to a mental assessment prior to taking plea is hereby declined. The application to have the case dismissed and Nairobi HCCR number 60 of 2019 reopened for hearing is hereby dismissed. A copy of the mental assessment report filed in HCCR 60 of 2019 shall be submitted to this court and shall form part of the court record.
The Independent Policing and Oversight Authority IPOA chairperson Isaac Hassan now says the authority cannot investigate abductions allegedly carried out by police since the National Police Service has denied involvement in the kidnappings. During a visit by the new IPOA board commissioners to the Meru IPOA regional office, Hassan maintained that a major challenge they are facing is understaffing, as the commission has only 77 investigators, while there are so many cases which need to be investigated.
IPOA is 10 years old. It has got an approved staff establishment of 1,300. It's supposed to oversight a police force which was established 135 years ago. It is 120,000 police force spread across the whole country. So you can imagine, if you can, the scope of work. And despite the staff approved establishment, we have 284 staff. 284 staff. Out of these, 77 are investigators. And that's where the core of the work is, investigating. And we want investigating staff of 600, and we have 77. So again, you see the challenge of the ones that we have are already overworked. There's burnout. And so we are going to go back to Parliament, meet with the Committee on Administration of Justice and National Security, and get them to give us more funding to allow us to, in the last budget, they wanted to employ 23 staff, 23 additional staff, and in the last budget it was cut off, they were denied. Yet the police may recruit now 10,000 more. So you please try and put those numbers against each other and see for yourself. I want to actually say that the staff that we have are very professional and very competent, but they are overworked, and we need to give them more support.
Kakamega Governor Fernandez Barasa is calling on the Senate to reject the fourth revenue sharing formula proposed by the Commission on Revenue Allocation, saying it is not equitable. The county boss, who also chairs the Finance Committee, spoke when he hosted Mining Cabinet Secretary Hassan Joho during the issuance of grants to 15 counties engaged in aquaculture in the devolved unit. He added that the proposal threatens the process of devolution as it will reduce funding for over 20 counties.
There is no way you can have 417 billion as proposed share of revenue for 25-26 financial year, and then you go further and ask a further 12 billion as stabilization. Who will approve 12 billion?
When I was going for my second term, the formula changed everything and I lost 2 billion. So all the programs, because government programs are long term, you plan for the next 10 years or 20 years.
The National Gender and Equality Commission has launched a campaign to address gender-based violence in Migori County by incorporating men to champion change. 51% of women in Migori County face some form of GBV, according to the 2022 Kenya Demographic and Health Survey.
Issue of how we can be able to tackle the gender-based violence by using them to be the champions to help us transform, change our attitude so that this crisis can be dealt up with in our country.
When a young girl is forced for an early marriage, this young girl do not know how to take care of a family. This young girl may not know even how to, even giving birth is a problem. This young girl may not know how to get money. So in the family, they become so angry, the men become so angry that their only consolation is beating the wife.
The End Femicide Kenya movement Kisumu chapter is set to release a booklet containing alternative dispute resolution mechanisms in a move to end gender-based violence and femicide-related cases. The movement is working with the relevant government institutions, including the National Police Service as well as the National Government Administration officers, in developing the booklet. At the same time, Kenyans are being encouraged to be cautious of early gender-based violence instigators and embrace separation when a union is no longer tenable. While marking 1 year of operation, the End Femicide Kenya movement further decried the rising number of femicide cases in the country, despite intensified combative efforts.
Conversations and continue with awareness creations. We are working closely with the police so that we can come up with a monologue or like a booklet of what are the red flags and the signs of early GBV within relationships and within community setups. We are working closely with CSOs that are within Kisumu County so that we can revive and also recheck our policies within our institutions that is under the safeguarding policy.
We are now rolling this one down, up from the county level to the sub-county, and also engaging the NPS, National Police Service, and also the security team, they call them the sub-county security intelligence committee meetings, and they expand. They decided to expand it and have a multi-sectoral approach towards this.
We don't find alternative dispute resolutions to sexual gender-based violence cases. We push them to court, and maybe justice is just found through court. But whenever you are violated sexually, criminally, feel free to come to the office.
Condemnation of femicide in Kenya by women in Kenya.
The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, ODPP, has once again made an application to postpone the charging of 11 Kisumu police officers, mainly middle-level commanders, with the murder and rape as crimes against humanity for 45 days. The officers, including a few who have retired, are facing charges including the murder of baby Pendo, a 6-month-old clobbered dead as police quelled the violence in Kisumu. They were expected to answer the charges on Wednesday as ordered by Justice Lilian Mutende, but when they appeared before Justice Margaret Muigai, ODPP's Mark Barasa applied to have the plea deferred by 45 days to allow apprehension of Mohammed Ba, who is still at large.
No comment about the submissions you have made. I would request, therefore, humbly, that you allow me to retire, go through what the able submissions that have been made by all teams, and the file again if I missed out anything, and then tomorrow in the afternoon at about 3, I think I'll be able to deliver what I think would be the directions to the matter. Thank you very much.
Most obliged. Most obliged. Thank you so much.
Representation for IPOA. Festus is an advocate. Festus is an advocate for IPOA.
Who are you?
I have a Mr. Inoti. Maybe you know him by first name, but what I have on record is Mr. Inoti of IPOA.
My lady, I don't think that is in doubt. I'm an advocate of over 11 years experience.
So I don't know who is Festus. It's you.
It is me, my lady.
Okay.
Yes, my lady.
I think Council was just trying to clarify.
Crossing borders, the city of Goma in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo remains engulfed in violence as M23 armed group supported by Rwandan soldiers battles for control. After seizing the airport and much of the city, nearly 2 days of gun battles have left streets littered with bodies and hundreds of civilians injured.
People in Democratic Republic of Congo have seen this before, and they're angry. In the capital Kinshasa, protesters set fire to several embassies, including those of Rwanda, France and the US. In the east, pro-Rwandan forces took control of the city of Goma after days of fighting. Congo's government and the UN says Rwandan soldiers have entered the city along with fighters from the M23 armed group. Rwanda blames Congo for escalating the conflict and says it has a right to defend itself. The protesters in Kinshasa blamed Congo's eastern neighbours for decades of destabilisation and Western governments for either failing to stop them or aiding them.
What Rwanda is doing is collusion with France, Belgium, the United States of America and others. Congolese people are tired. How many times do we have to die?
Dead bodies lie on the usually busy streets of Goma. Humanitarian organisations say hospitals are filled with hundreds of injured civilians. The UN says the fighting's made Congo's humanitarian crisis worse. Rwandan and Congolese troops and their allied armed groups have all been accused of widespread abuses over the last 3 years of conflict.
We have reports of rapes committed by fighters, looting of property, including of a humanitarian warehouse, and humanitarian and health facilities being hit.
The warehouse was emptied by hundreds of people. After days of being stuck in their homes, many are hungry. About 2 million people have already been forced from their homes by the conflict. Thousands more have crossed the border into Rwanda in the last few days. 2 major wars and 3 decades of protracted conflicts over Congo's vast mineral wealth have displaced people repeatedly. It was Western powers' suspension of military aid to Rwanda that eventually brought the last round of Congo's conflict with M23 to a close. People here blame them for letting it happen again.
Newsroom takes a short commercial break. I'll be back shortly.
Get ready for unforgettable season with the most compelling news on Maisha TV.
More than 3 people have lost their lives following an early.
We have curated an incredible lineup of news that is incisive, accurate and bold.
Alright, so let's now shift to focus to...
You can catch all these from the comfort of your own home or through our online Maisha TV Kenya platforms. Your remote control is your gateway to a world of news, and remember, Maisha TV is your ultimate companion. Choose us, tune in, and fall in love with the experience. Get the whole story.
Omoka leo na tatua tatu. Imagine kuomoka na $500,000 kila nusu saa kwa kucheza na Tenbob pekee. Keleo na tatua tatu.
Daisy is an amazing school. We have the JSS, the primary and the ECD that are amazing. We have a wonderful laboratories and ICT department. Our farm department is doing quite well. And I want to welcome everybody in this holistic learning that you come and exploit these facilities we have.
Enroll now. Contact us now on 0741 933 063. Let's plant the seeds for a brighter tomorrow at Daisy Center and School. His season is the biggest entertainment on Maisha TV.
Umenisahau? Naitwa Mtausi Mnyama. Oya, mchangani.
We've lined up entertainment for everyone. The best bet, you can watch this at the comfort of your home and our online Maisha TV Kenya platforms. Your remote is your friend. And of course, Maisha TV is your best friend. Choose it, watch it, and love it. At Ebukanga TVC, we are dedicated to nurturing skilled and innovative graduates ready to excel in the formal job market. Don't wait. Apply today by visiting www.ebukangatvc.ac.ke. For more information, call us on 0722 510564 or email us at ebukangatechnical@gmail.com. You can also send your application to PO Box 549 code 5307 Luanda. Find us conveniently located off Kisumu Busia Road at Big Bend Junction in Emuhaya in Vihiga County. Ebukanga Technical and Vocational College, shaping skilled professionals for the future. His season is the biggest entertainment on Maisha TV.
Set it, pick up when me set it, you have it, pick
speak up. So when me set it, you have it, speak up.
We've lined up entertainment for everyone. The best bet? You can watch this at the comfort of your home and our online Maisha TV Kenya platforms. Your remote is your friend. And of course, Maisha TV is your best friend. Choose it, watch it, and love it.
Wanatukana watu kwa mitandao. Hata mimi nikifungua my WhatsApp, my groups ambazo niko pale. For every 2 comments, every 10 comments, 8 of them ni matusi. Wanatukana vibaya sana. That one needs to change. But if it can't change, people should not be killed because...
Never worry about where to get bored. Unbiased and credible news. It's right here on Maisha TV. Get the whole story.
Africa must define herself culturally. Africa must define herself spiritually, because Africa has no choice but to move forward, and forward she will move.
Lumumba's Africa Show, every Tuesday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. and 11 a.m. respectively, only on Maisha TV.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. The High Court in Garissa has quashed the 2019 census results of Wajir, Mandera and Garissa counties, citing discrepancies in the results given. In the case, Abdullahi Bashir Sheikh and 24 others accused the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics and 4 others of overseeing the anomaly, claiming that the November 2019 census was not a factual representation of the total population in the region. They further accused KNBS of altering the population numbers, arguing that it impacted their social, economic and political standing as other Kenyans stood to gain more resources. After a five-year court battle, the High Court found that the 2019 census results were released per UN guidelines, but it was impractical to report that the population size in the said counties dropped from 2009 census. The Association of Traders in Kapsabet, Nandi County have raised concerns over the lack of security that has been witnessed in the town in the last couple of weeks. The traders say that they have been forced to close their businesses early for fear of being attacked. Led by Eli Chepkoin, the chairman of the association, and the traders have complained that their businesses
waongeze mambo ya patrols ya security hapa town, la wa improve pia mambo ya lighting. Hii mambo ya patrol nasikia kwamba hakuna gari ya Kapsabet police station kubwa sana Nandi County headquarters, haina gari ya kufanya patrols. So tunauliza stakeholders ambao wanahusika katika department wahakikisha kwamba kuna mobility ya polisi, waweze kusonga kama kutoka area moja mpaka nyingine, waongeze patrols.
Kama wanabiashara, biashara yetu iko kwa mahali ambapo si mzuri sana katika mambo ya security. We want to tell the people who are responsible for security in our town, let them take care of our properties and our businesses, because kama mwanabiashara umewekeza biashara yako alafu kidogo biashara inafunjwa, kuna wezi mahali, inatuweka kwa hali ya waziwazi kama wanabiashara.
And Kericho County is set for a significant economic boost following the announcement of a 4 billion shillings sugar factory to be constructed in Kalaret ward, Soin Sigowet constituency. Speaking during an education day held in Soin Sigowet, the MP for the area Justice Kemei revealed that the construction of the factory will commence next month and called for more investors. These will mark the establishment of the second sugar miller in the county after West Valley Sugar Factory.
The investment for that sugar factory is close to 4 billion. And those of us who've been in the sugar sector for a long time, we know that an investment of $1 translates to a positive improvement in the economy of $3. The economy of this constituency in the next 3 years, when that sugar factory is constructed, will improve by Kenya shillings 12 billion. The sugar factory that will be built here will translate to direct job opportunities of close to 2,000 people and indirect job opportunities of another 10,000 people. It will be the economic will of this sub-county and probably the economic will of Kericho as a county.
One of the things that he is not celebrated most for, they don't celebrate now, but don't worry. In future, they will bow and celebrate because of the things, because that time it will be possible to reflect that preventing our country from going to total collapse was the best thing that has been able to achieve. He has been able to achieve this far. And on account of those policies, we can now begin investing in the right sectors.
We'll take another short commercial break. You're watching Newsroom, Maisha Television Kenya here. My name is Rida Karin Chibet. I'll be right back.